Hey, what's up mga ka-legit? So for another episode, isang makabulang episode ulit. So I'm here with Coach Carl Borromeo. And Coach Carl, aside from kung paano natin nakilala, I want to allow you to introduce yourself tsaka kung ano yung ginagawa mo as a fitness professional.
Okay, so hi everyone. So I'm Coach Carl. I am a weight management specialist, weight loss specialist. So I help people lose weight realistically and sustainable, removing trial and error sa training nila, and helping them lose weight ng mas efficient din. I have multiple specialization, so that includes behavior change, specialization. So, ine-explore na rin natin yung mga barriers nila, kung bakit hindi sila, or what's the reason kung bakit hindi nila nare-reach yung goals nila ng mas efficient. I'm also a youth and senior fitness specialist, fitness nutrition as well, and cancer exercise specialist as well.
And so si Coach Carl ay may multiple specializations kasi he's really passionate to fitness and he wants to really prepare for yung profession that will really help people, lalo na sa pag-improve ng health. But Coach, siguro mag-share tayo ng small background before you having a specialization at alam ko may iba't ibang story tayo kung paano tayo start mag-fitness. So can you share us kung ano yung brief background, paano ka naging fitness professional na kung sino ka ngayon?
Well, I started working out back in 2012 talaga, Coach. Growing up, I was always one of the obese childs or teens hanggang sa tumanda ako. Pero I always wanted to lose weight. It's just that, hindi ko alam yung tamang formula kung paano nga ba talaga mag-lose ng weight. So, countless of trials and errors back then. And then, mas naging consistent lang ako mag-workout 2017 kasi by profession I am a seafarer.
Seaman.
So graduate ako ng marine transportation. So if hindi ko babaguhin yung basically yung katawan ko, mas malaki yung chance na hindi ako ma-hire ng mga shipping companies back then. So what I did is nag-enroll ako sa isang gym ulit 2017. Akala ko nga, the more na mas matagal ka sa gym, mas mag-lose ka ng weight. So, I've been in and out of the gym for at least 6 times a week. Oo, so...
6 times din. Ako, dalawang beses pa ako mag-gym nun sa isang araw.
Ayun, so lahat, parang ako rin. 6 times a week, 2 hours, 2 hours max. So, I did lose some weight. Pero na-realize ko na hindi pala dapat naman ganun. You can still lose weight by just going to the gym at least 3 to 4 times a week, and 45 minutes lang to 1 hour pwede na eh. So yun yung ginawa ko 2017, and then may nakilala ako na isang naging coach ko, so siya yung nag-help out sa akin na mag-lose ng weight. So parang sabi ko sa kanya one time, sabi ko, Coach, parang ang saya yata maging coach din na katulad mo. Paano ba maging coach katulad mo? So sabi niya sa akin, may mga companies naman na nagbibigay ng mga in-house training. So kapag sinwerte at na-hire ka, mabibigyan ka nila ng training. So that's what I did. Meron ako in-apply na gym before. Kilala siya dito sa Fairview side before. Swerte lang ako siguro na nabigyan nila ako ng chance, and very fortunate ako. Kasi yung nag-hire sa akin, naging mentor ko talaga. So, he taught me everything na dapat kong malaman sa personal training, and how I present how I present myself as a coach. So, na-adapt ko rin yun, yung mga learnings ko. Siyempre, over time, mas in-improve ko sila. Ayan, so...
Mag-aaral ka talaga.
Yes, oo. So, hindi naman tayo graduate ng any sports or medical-related course. So, yung urge ko o yung drive ko to prove myself na I also belong sa fitness industries, mataas. So, ginawa ko lang yung part ko na nag-aral ako. I got certified through an organization, international organization, back in 2022. And up until now, continuous pa rin naman yung learning natin. So, I'm still learning. So, hindi ko naman alam lahat up until now. Mahilig lang ako mag-aral and eto na, medyo kahit na paano, nakakatulong. I mean, natutulungan ko na yung mga kliyente ko.
Yung time na sinasabi mo kanina yung certification mo, Coach, it seems na with what I know about you at present, you're helping people na although, lahat naman tao gusto gumanda ng katawan, di ba? Gusto maging fit. Pero hindi sila yung parang typical people na who wants to be a bodybuilder who will be competing in a show. Hindi rin naman sila yung mga like elite athletes. And I think, sabi mo, cancer survivor specialist. Tapos, yung sa corrective movement specialization, meron ka rin, no?
Pala.
So, parang moving pain-free. So, it means na most likely, your clients are the people na hindi sobrang parating ganda ng katawan. They just allow it to be the side effect of them going sa gym. But there are people who just want to increase the quality of their lives and moving pain-free. So, ang tanong ko sa'yo, Coach, paano mo nalalaman kapag, for example, may isang client na sick, at the same time, ready sila to train?
Okay, so, paano ko nalalaman na ready sila to train? Tama ba, Coach? Okay, so, well, first of all, so before tayo tumanggap dapat ng mga clients, dapat may mga questions tayo talaga. So, hindi enough yung willingness to train. Okay, so dapat alam natin as a coach to ask the right questions. Okay, so are they cleared to work out? Do they have any conditions? Do they have any clearance from their doctor? So by asking those simple questions, you're already, I mean, meron ka ng idea kung iti-take mo ba siya as a client mo or hindi mo muna siya iti-take, 'di ba? So yes, as much as possible we want to make a sale as a coach. However, mas nangingibabaw pa rin na kailangan safe si client, 'di ba? So we don't want to aggravate the pain, the symptoms. So tatanungin ko if they have any like medical conditions, ano yung past medical condition, injuries, ayan. So may mga questions tayo to confirm that.
To confirm that. Siguro, nakalimutan ko rin sabihin sa'yo guys, the reason why parang highly valuable yung sasabihin ni Coach Carl kasi imagine, may sakit yung tao, but the first step na akala niya ay to get a fitness trainer. Pero ang first step na dapat niyang gawin ay lumapit sa doktor.
Correct.
Na hindi naman mura. Tapos, as someone na gym owner din pala siya, na North Fairview Personal Trainers, and ganun din yung mga klase ng client na pupunta sa kanila. And I'm just wondering, Coach, for example, sa 5 tao na pupunta sa'yo na based on your assessment, may health complications, ilan dun yung kailangan mo i-turn down para lang i-refer mo na sila sa doktor bago sila pumunta sa'yo? Siguro, lawakan natin. Sa 10 tao, ilan yung client na sana, pero dapat pasyente muna sila bago maging kliyente? Based sa experience mo.
Well, most of the time, Coach Ja, kasi, mga naging clients ko rin, yung mga may pre-diabetes, so pre-hypertension, at yung may mga diabetes. So, as long as cleared sila to work out and nakapag-present sila sa akin ng medical clearance, iti-take ko talaga sila.
Oh, so pag for example like fit to do some physical activity. Okay na yun.
Tama. Pero dun sa 10 out sa 10 tao na pupunta, meron akong nakaisa pa lang ako na hindi ko muna tinake kasi sobrang dami niyang conditions.
Grabe.
Yeah, so
Hindi naman terminal.
Hindi naman.
Pero dami talaga.
I mean, combo eh. Combo. So, kumbaga, I had to ask yung clearance ng doctor kung talaga bang cleared siya to work out. So, kahit na sobrang willing niya to start na agad, pero kasi, I'm not just after the sale eh. So, it's very important to stay within our scope of practice talaga. So, I had to turn her down for the meantime and ask if cleared ba siya ng doctor niya. Kasi kung hindi, baka yung program na i-design ko sa kanya, hindi naman pala fit sa kanya. baka mas ma-aggravate natin yung symptoms, yung condition, yung stability ng condition niya mas mag-worsen pa. So hindi ko muna siya tinanggap, and what happened is I asked for a clearance. So after a week, it turns out na meron palang procedure na gagawin sa kanya. So mabuti na lang talaga hindi ko siya tinanggap, kasi kung tinanggap ko siya baka
yung program.
yung program na ginawa ko sa kanya hindi naman pala fit dun sa ano niya ngayon, sa condition niya. Mas ma-worsen pa natin yung gagawin ko sa kanya.
Ang hirap nun, no? Na parang, although parang we took it like a little lightly, ako personally, na combo yung sakit, pero I can imagine yung struggle na ang dami mong sakit. No? Tapos, well, it's admirable din na ang nakita niya next step is to get fit.
Yes.
Pero ang problem mo talaga, baka di yun yung best first step na dapat i-take, di ba?
Exactly. Nakakalungkot din actually, syempre na, I mean, during the consultations, hindi talaga maiwasan na yung mga client very vulnerable na. So, umaabot sa point na parang hindi ko alam kung personal trainer pa ba ako or physical
Counselor.
therapist na. Therapy na pala. So, therapist. So, kumbaga, andyan na yung mga questions, andyan na yung mga talagang sinasabi nila yung yung conditions nila, ganyan. Pero syempre, acknowledge lang natin, and then empathize lang natin si client, and just try to stay pa rin dun sa scope of practice natin.
Siguro, excuse me, yung based on what you said, Coach Carl, siguro, sa thesis ko kasi, parang, I came across with this article na ang fitness trainer ay hindi lang fitness trainer. Ang tingin ng tao sa kanila ay multi-specialist. Minsan, a friend,
Totoo.
nutritionist, personal doctor, counselors, di ba, parang, or ano pa ba, mga parang pinag-vent out ng kaibigan.
Correct.
I'm just wondering, Coach, na I want you to enlighten us. Yung struggle ng isang trainer na ang trabaho mo lang naman talaga ay to coach, to support them to move, to make them sustain their willingness to improve their fitness. Pero yan, gaya na sinasabi mo, they're being vulnerable, and I think it puts a mental burden sa'yo as a trainer that affected ka sa tao. So,
Totoo.
gusto ko malaman, like, how do you deal with that?
How do I deal with those kinds of situation? Well, we just have to stay professional pa rin talaga. So, well, there's a reason naman talaga why we need to know we need to know those things. Kasi we want to understand the client where they're coming from, para maintindihan natin yung deeper why nila, behavior, okay? So, para alam mo rin kung ano rin yung best approach na gagawin mo kapag nag-start na yung coaching ninyo. So, acknowledge mo lang yung concern niya.
Yeah.
Make sure na you are listening. Okay, so it's not really, hindi naman sa uulitin mo palagi yung sinasabi ng kliyente, pero make them feel na you are listening.
Yeah.
Na you're not just after the money. Ayan, so, and then, empathize din. So, ayun lang naging best practice ko. Kumbaga, nakatulong din siguro na malaki din yung help nung I used to work kasi sa BPO din kasi, Coach. So, kumbaga very well trained ako sa communication. So, na-apply ko siya dito talaga sa personal training. So, yun. Proper acknowledgement and empathize lang, but you still have to stay professional pa rin at all times. Kumbaga, dapat alam mo kung hanggang saan ka lang. So, yes, tama ka, Coach, na sometimes our clients, tinitignan nila tayo as friends. Pero do not forget that you are still their coach. So, dapat meron pa ring wall sa gitna ninyo. Kumbaga, limitations, barriers, meron pa rin dapat ganun. Kumbaga, huwag mo kakalimutan yung role mo sa kanila at stay within your lane pa rin. Ayun.
Para clear yung boundary.
Totoo.
Para madali mong i-turn on kung anong role yung kailangan mong
Correct.
i-impose sa isang client.
Yes.
No?
Also, dyan mo rin naman kasi, Coach, dyan din natin masiset yung authority natin.
Yes.
Ayan, syempre, I mean, when I was starting as a personal trainer, naging struggle din naman yun sa akin to set my authority. Pero syempre, habang tumatagal, natututo tayo. We learn from our mistakes, and yun lang.
Would you say, Coach, na siguro POV mo, and I think not everyone will be agreeing with this, among those people na healthy, athlete level, medically diagnosed na may ill sila ba ang pinakamahirap i-handle na client? Yes or no?
Yung mga may sakit? Hindi naman talaga, Coach. Kumbaga, hindi naman sila mahirap i-handle. Naalala mo, Coach, yung pinag-usapan natin dati na, na kapag ang isang personal trainer ay naging certified, mas nananarrow yung yung kung sino yung hinandle. I mean, yung pagiging certified personal trainer, it's not really,
Just an extension ng
oo,
pangalan.
exactly. Kumbaga, hindi ibig sabihin certified personal trainer ka, kaya mo na lahat din i-handle. There's limitations pa rin. Mas nananarrow down pa nga natin. Pero, kumbaga, yung pagiging certified personal trainer natin, mas, kino-qualify niya tayo i-handle yung mga ganong klaseng tao. Ayan, so qualified tayo mag-handle ng mga clients na may hypertension, cardiovascular concerns, metabolic syndromes, Ayan, orthopedic also, as long as cleared nga sila ng doctor nila.
Tatanggapin mo sila.
Yes, tatanggapin ko sila. So, sa mga clients na, for example, merong orthopedic issues, what I usually do is I'll ask that client if I can talk dun sa PT nila para dun sa bubuin ko na program. I will ask approval muna. Baka mamaya yung program ko kasi against na pala dun sa protocol na ginagawa nila nung PT. So, hindi talaga mag-work yung program. Pero when it comes to yung sinasabi mo na mahirap, hindi naman sobrang hirap. When it comes to training people na may complications versus dun sa tao na healthy, wala naman talagang specialized workout plan or there's no special
same
program. Exactly. Same principles pa rin yan. Smarter application lang. Ayan. So, kumbaga, for example, sa hypertension, so hindi pwede yung
HIIT, di ba?
Yes, exactly. So, kailangan controlled yung movement nila. So, not too fast, not too explosive, controlled yung tempo, yung breathing nila, no holding of breath.
Yung Valsalva maneuver.
Yes, correct. Tama. Pero may tamang approach pa rin eh. Major muscle groups dapat kahit na paano natitrain. And then may cardio pa rin. Pero kumbaga may tamang pasok lahat. So, when it comes to training clients na may complication, it's not really about the intensity. It's about the adaptation.
Adaptation.
Ayan.
Na-enlighten ulit or na-refresh ako siguro for a better use of term na it all boils down to principle.
Correct.
Na usually, mapapangalanan mo yung principle na yun kapag nag-aral ka. For example, experience ka, ginagawa mo na pala. But if you explicitly know the identification of that specific principle, ang daling mag-tweak ng program. Gaya sinasabi mo na, hypertensive people can still do cardio kahit na hypertensive sila.
Correct.
Ang
pero
pagbabago,
light, ganyan.
dosage niya bababa.
May tamang
Yung haba ng workout bababa,
Exactly.
'di ba? Or yung specific movement siguro kailangan modify pero still they can do cardio.
Yes. It's not really, sa mga taong may sakit, hindi naman talaga banned yung exercise.
Yes.
So, they can still exercise, pero there's a right program. Kumbaga, may tamang pasok ng cardio. So, smarter application. Ayan.
Anong say mo dun, Coach? Kasi ako, I have personal insights towards that na there are a lot of medical doctors. I personally, skeptical ako sa ganong prescription na binibigay nila. Na kapag ang tao may pain or sakit, automatic tigil sa exercise. And I'm hearing some other credible doctors as well na hindi nila pinapapigil mag-exercise agad yung tao. Pinapabago lang nila yung dosage or how the usual design of workouts has been implemented by the coach na hindi pwedeng, kailangan baguhin, kumbaga. Kasi ako, di na ako nalilito eh. Kapag may pain, kapag may sakit ka, tama yung sinabi mo, hindi ban yung exercise. But ano yung say mo sa mga doctors na pag may sakit, ganito, tigil mo na yan. Huwag mo nang gawin yan. Gamot.
Okay. Well, syempre, mas mas knowledgeable sila di ba? Pero, kumbaga, magkakaiba tayo ng opinion Well, fitness professional tayo, alam din natin na may benefits naman talaga yung exercise sa mga taong may sakit. Like for me, as a cancer exercise specialist, qualified ako to handle people na nag-undergone ng
cancer.
treatment. Okay, so, at yung mga tapos na dun sa treatment. So, for example, sa mga taong may cancer, after treatment, nagkakaroon sila ng mga limitations So, kaya kong ibalik yung fitness nila ulit, regain their mobility, get back to being active again. So, pero, basta alam ko lang tama yung ginagawa ko. And syempre, supported pa rin by
Evidence-based.
evidence. Exactly. So, we don't just throw in some random exercises. So, make sure pa rin na evidence-based. And dapat, before tayo talaga mag-train ng kahit sino, kahit walang sakit yan o ano, alam mo talaga dapat yung consideration and yung contraindication nung training. Ayan.
Yan, siguro ako doon lang nagagaling na nalulumaan lang ako sa ganung mindset. Na pag may pain, completely stop. Ang pain lang nasa kaliwang kamay.
Yes.
Completely stop. Diba?
Though, when it comes to dealing with pains naman talaga, Coach Ja, mild discomfort is okay. Pwede pa yun. Pero, and the same with pain. So, kaya meron tayong tinatanong na pain level. So, as a corrective exercise specialist as well, kumbaga, before ako mag-prescribe ng exercise, I ask if there's kung meron ba siyang pain na nafe-feel. Let's say, nagbigay ako ng isang exercise. Let's sabihin natin na dumbbell flat bench press. So, I'll ask if meron ba silang pain na nafe-feel. So, and then kapag sinabi nila meron, I'll ask them kung saan.
Ini-scorean nyo pa yun, no?
Exactly, oo. So, kumbaga, may mga pwede tayong gawin naman na adjustment, modification. So, I'll ask, let's say let's say sabihin nila may pain sila na feel, I'll ask on a scale of 1 to 10 how high is the pain that you're currently experiencing right now. So kapag ang pain level lang nasa 1 to 5, pwede pa yan you can still continue the workout, pero you have to observe pa rin. Okay, so it's not about the intensity anymore, it's about how they feel na.
Yeah.
So we're not chasing the reps, we're not chasing the sweat, we're not chasing the weight. So, dapat, as a coach, ask how they feel. Komportable ba sila i-execute yung exercise? Wala ba silang discomfort? Pero, kapag ang pain ay tumaas na ng 7 to 10, then,
Stop
doon talaga
talaga.
tayo mag-stop. Kumbaga, yun yung mo na talaga. So, you can still continue working out kahit may pain. Again, mild discomfort is okay. Pero, as a coach, it's your responsibility to ask feedback dun sa client mo. Mamaya, ang taas na pala ng pain level niya, pero dahil hindi mo tinanong yung pain level.
Kasi may pride sila or may ego.
Oo,
Hindi, kaya
exactly.
ko.
Tama, maraming
Sakit na
ganung
pala.
clients Maraming ganun So, mataas
Ayaw
na pala
naman
yung pain level nila. Dahil hindi mo nagawa yung part mo na tanungin yun, yari ka na.
Kung hindi sila comfortable mag-signal sa'yo na, Coach, ayoko na parang,
Exactly.
kasi baka isipin na sign of weakness.
Totoo.
But I think, coach factor din yung yung hindi comfortable yung client mong magsabi ng discomfort sa'yo. Kasi ako, as someone na naging client ako sa sports, siguro, not, any sport, na parang, I think there's something wrong na within me. Na, nahihirapan mahirapan na ako huminga. Tapos, hindi, tuloy lang yan.
Tama.
Ibuga mo lang yan. Diba? Parang, tas dahil na-invalidate ka, the next time that I show up dun sa training na yun, I don't feel comfortable saying kung ano yung nararamdaman ko, diba? Na parang tigil ko nila kasi baka mapahamak pa ako, diba?
Or sabihin na weak.
O weak,
Tama.
diba? Which is, ano naman problema, diba?
Exactly, tama. Well, kaya nga tayo nandito rin as their coaches kasi para malaman natin yun. Para, adjust accordingly din, diba? So, whenever I do consultation, isa rin sa ginagawa natin is to build rapport agad. Build connection with the client kasi it builds trusts. Ayan, so that's very important. Kumbaga, I always tell to my clients na whenever you hire a personal trainer, it's always a two-way street. So, communication is the key. So, if hindi kayo nagko-communicate dalawa, ano yung past challenges mo? Meron ka bang challenges ngayon sa program natin? 'Di ba? Hindi mo ma-adjust yung program niya. So, kailangan talaga nag-uusap kayong dalawa.
Coach, doon ako na-curious doon sa binanggit mo yung rapport. Although alam ko na may rapport, pero I just want to hear your thoughts. Anong itsura ng isang good rapport building? Kasi you handling clients who are or struggling with some complications na I believe very strong na yung signal sa kanila to go for a fitness engagement. Willing sila magbayad. And I think vulnerable or magiging gullible sila pag lalo yung trainer ay alam mo na, mga pera. Pero ano yung itsura ng isang successful na rapport building na nagtiwala yung client kay coach kasi genuine din si coach at magaling siyang makipag-communicate?
You should know their pasts. Not really ask personal questions. So again, kailangan alam din natin yung limitations natin. Ask the right question. Probe, okay? So, dapat hindi tayo yung madaldal. We're probing question, pero as much as possible, we want the client na sa kanila manggaling lahat. There's a study nga stating na tayo daw mga personal trainer, we tend to create solution for everything. So, hindi dapat ganun. Okay? So, pag hindi natin alam, it's perfectly fine to say hindi natin alam. Diba? Tao lang din naman tayo. So, whenever I try to build rapport, naghahanap lang ako ng pwedeng isa o dalawang bagay na maiko-connect ko yung sarili ko sa kanya. So that's how I build rapport. Also through active listening, acknowledging kung ano man yung sinasabi ng client. Kasi it's very important yung acknowledgement. If you're not acknowledging the client, hindi niya mafe-feel na nakikinig yung coach niya.
Tapos yung sinasabi mo na kinoconnect mo yung two things about you sa kung anong current situation niya after niya mag-disclose ng information, di ba? Doon ka nagbibigay ng connection. Sinabi na niya information, nakaka-relate ako doon na. But once na tapos na siya mag-disclose, that's the time na pinapasok mo yung experience mo pag naramdaman na rin niyang nakikinig ka, di ba?
It actually depends kung paano mo siya ipoposition. Pero sometimes ako, pagpasok pala ng client, kapag nakaupo na siya dun sa consultation office ko, so syempre, may mga questions ako sometimes. So, kunyari, taga saan ka, for example. So, kapag sinabi nila na taga dito sila sa area na yun, paano, naghahanap ako ng...
Yung mga no-brainer.
Yes, exactly.
I was thinking, coach, yung parang yung...
Icebreaker siya.
Icebreaker pala, sorry. Kasi I was thinking yung parang... Mistake ko rin yan dati. Na nag-share na struggle si client, biglang, naramdaman ko rin yan. Ako nga dati. Tinitigil ko na gawin yan.
Tama.
Parang pwede mo siya gawin yan kapag, for example, yung... Coach, ikaw ba naramdaman mo yun? Nabanggit mo, naranasan mo pero tinanong ka niya na, ikaw coach, anong ginawa mo nung time na yun? Kasi of course, they really want to assure na they're approaching the right coach. At isa sa mga metrics sila is, dumaan na rin ba si coach doon sa mga same trenches na pinagdaanan niya? Pero parang tatanungin ka niya ng client, kapag ikaw coach, ano ginawa mo nung you had the same struggle?
Tama.
Pag tinanong kang ganun ni client, ibig sabihin, you listen talaga kasi binigyan ka niya ng pagkakataon to share, di ba?
Exactly.
So talagang, active listening, laking bagay talaga yung So, coach, yung rapport building sa'yo is
to break the ice.
Para
mas maging komportable sila sa akin.
Na it's not transactional.
Exactly, So, that's my way of building rapport din, building connection din. Yung sinasabi mo kanina, coach, dyan na dun sa part na kailangan na experience din natin, for me, it's not really necessary. Okay? Kasi paano if the client meron siyang experience na yon, tapos hindi mo naman siya na-feel talaga.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, medyo awkward yun sa client na paano mo, baka pwede niyang sabihin na
plastic.
Or
diba?
Paano mo nasabi yung same, hindi mo naman siya pinagdaanan, di ba? So, ganyan din namin, actually, yan din yung best practice namin when I was still working as a BPO employee back then. So, never, like, kumbaga, yung pag, di ba, may term na always put yourself in dun sa may
The shoe
shoes
ng ibang
nung,
tao.
nung client. Yeah, sometimes applicable siya, pero may time na hindi eh.
Hindi na kailangan.
Ayan, exactly, oo. So, just make them feel na you're listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, active listening, empathize, acknowledge. Ayan.
Tsaka signal lang ka naman nila na
Exactly.
ikaw ba coach, anong ginawa mo nung ganun, di ba?
Totoo.
Pero pag hindi sila ganun ka serious or comfortable to ask you, parang enough na siguro yung it must have been difficult for
Totoo.
you, no? Parang
Yes. Yeah,
hindi ko
that's the
exactong
right-
alam ko ano yung naramdaman pero alam kong mahirap yan.
Exactly,
Hindi lang
yan.
eksakto,
Yan yung
di ba?
magandang best practice din. So, hindi naman necessary na sabihin natin sa client na napagdaanan ko din siya. Kasi hindi naman talaga, coach. So, yun. That's another good practice yung sinabi mo, coach, na it must have been difficult.
Yeah.
Yung nafe-feel mo na ganyan. So, tama.
Tunan ko lang kay Dr. Adviento kasi yung naging prof ko sa UP Diliman nung nag-masters ako. Yung pala, yung palang motivational way of talking to people. Being a listener pala, hindi pala pagiging pusher lang.
Exactly.
Diba? Kasi hindi nga dapat ikaw yung nag-create ng, gaya sinabi mo, hindi dapat ikaw yung nag-create ng solution for your client. You lead them to the solution with the available resources that we have, yung capacity nila to take actions.
Exactly.
Para they take ownership sa kung ano yung success, di ba? Kasi, well, may mga iba kasing coaches na nakikita ko na they really want to call this, yung come in their client's way so that silang una maiisip ng client na dahil sa'yo kaya ako nag-succeed. Wala namang problema doon. But may nakikilala kasi ako talaga na they really want to take the credit, the full credit. While ako siguro personally, na-outgrow ko yung pagiging gano'n na okay lang, even if I'm on the sides.
Correct.
Di mo kailangan banggitin. Yung nakikita kitang masaya ka sa kung sino ngayon, I think that's enough, parang credit for me na hindi na kailangan ipagsigawan pa,
And besides, it's all their effort.
Di ba?
Guide lang tayo. Kumbaga, kaya nga din sila pumunta sa atin for guidance technically. So, ayun, tama ka rin naman talaga dun, coach.
Parang ako, siguro personally, I get validation dun sa evidence na okay sila kaysa yung sa mini-mention or yung binobroadcast. Yung binobroadcast. I think, okay yun, no? Parang, it feels secure as a coach na hindi ka masyadong tawag doon, nagmamatakam or yung talaga nag-yearn for validation. Di ba? Kasi alam mo, secret ka na i-recognize ako or hindi. I know
You know your work naman.
you know your worth and I know my methods work
Correct.
for the right people.
Tama.
No? Coach, siguro sa perspective naman as a business owner, kasi kaya rin kita na-invite dito dahil you really want to help people and I believe not all people you wanna help can afford you. Tapos, babalik tayo sa tanong kanina na parang ano yung nafe-feel mo na new client, masaya yan para sa mga fitness trainers, lalo sa gym owners, di ba? Tapos biglang, parang pera na pero hindi tayo yung dapat unang lapitan. Doktor ang una niyang dapat lapitan. Ano nafe-feel mo pag ganun?
Siyempre, nakakahinayang yun. I mean, as a gym owner, and siyempre, may minimit din naman tayo na, wala naman akong quota sa sarili kong gym, pero siyempre, as much as possible, we want to make a sale pa rin. Malaking tulong talaga siya sa atin.
Gym pag di nakakabenta.
Exactly.
Diba?
Pero I wouldn't chase a sale over, mas pipiliin ko na mas maging safe muna si client over the sale. Pero yes, of course, nakakahinayang. Ako, ang palagi ko namang paniniwala is if the client really needs you, they'll always go back. So, na-experience ko na siya countless of times. Let's say, a current client, after nilang matapos yung package nila and then biglang nawala.
Bumalik pala.
Bumabalik sila palagi, coach eh. Basta, kasi nga, ikaw yung kailangan nila. At natulungan mo na sila sa fitness goals nila. Kumbaga, naging maayos ka kahit paano na coach. Bumabalik sila. Kumbaga, na-experience ko na yan. Pero yes, of course, nakakahinayang.
Yeah.
Oo, so, pera din yun eh.
Oo, di ba? Well, kasi, marami kasi nagbe-message sa akin na parang, coach, meron lang naging bad experience sa isang coach. Hindi ko na namin papangalanan dahil ang principle ko lagi is we focus on the idea not on the person kasi ang tao pwede magbago naman eh. 'Di ba? So, ito yung binigay sa akin na program, hindi man lang in-assess. Tapos, meron ng problema sa ganito. Feeling ko binentahan lang ako, hindi na ako bumalik. Pero hindi ko naman pinupulot kung san-san yung perang pinambayad ko sa kanya. And meron din ng mga nag-BPM sa akin na talagang tumatanggap kahit may sakit na. Madadaan naman doon sa fitness yung sakit. So parang, I think it's time to call out that practice na mas okay na maging safe muna. Siguro in business perspective, kapag tinanggap mo siya as a client na may sakit, may kita ka.
Yes.
Pero yung repercussions na pag may nangyaring di maganda sa kanya at legally liable ka,
Ikaw
yung
pa
binayad sa'yo.
Exactly.
Diba?
Ikaw
3
pa
times
yung
babalik, diba?
Pagka na-aggravate mo kung ano man yung condition ni client, mas nag-worsen pa, ikaw babalikan yan. So, ayaw natin yun, syempre, di ba? Pwedeng kasuhan tayo.
Ayun. So, yung kinita mo,
Exactly,
ganun
oo.
yun,
So,
diba?
baka mas malaki pa yung kapalit nun, di ba? Kaysa dun sa rate nung package, di ba?
I think coaches has to be smart siguro like you, Coach Carl, kasi pinipili mo rin yung client mo eh. It's okay mamili ng client eh.
Totoo.
Kasi ako I believe, na pag-usapan namin ni Coach Carl to, namimili kami ng client na confidently kaya namin tulungan.
Serious.
Hindi yung serious. Pinipili namin yung kliyente na hindi mapapahamak sa amin. Dahil kapag mapapahamak ka sa amin, we have to say no to you.
Totoo.
'Di ba? And siguro iyan yung tingin ko dapat ma-practice ng ibang coaches na kailangan mo ng pera.
It's not always about the money pa rin eh. I mean, you also have to protect yourself pa rin.
Peace of mind.
Diba? Exactly. Lalo na kung meron kang pinapatakbo na gym, protect your brand pa rin. Diba? Kumbaga, ayaw naman natin makilala sa industry na si Coach Carl, tumatanggap yan ng kahit sino. Diba? So, parang ayoko naman ng ganung impression sa clients.
So, talaga integrity. Integrity.
And, always stay within dun sa scope of practice natin. Very important siya eh. So, may mga coaches, di ba, na nagpo-provide ng mga meal plan.
Yeah.
Pero alam naman natin na hindi pwede yun. Di ba? So, paano kung hindi ka naman nag-conduct ng like health screening, medical history, tapos nagbigay ka ng specific diet. So, mas hindi mo alam may allergy pala siya dun sa certain food na yun. So, napahamak pa si client, 'di ba?
Although to be clear nga doon, coach, 'di ba, kasi nag-nutrition coach ka rin naman. Yung limit ng coach pagdating sa nutrition ng client, actually nanggagaling siya sa you just support them or help them implement kung ano yung recommended sa kanila, 'di ba? Well, sabi natin mag-provide ka ng meal plan, it has to revolve to the food na safe sa kanila.
Exactly.
Pangalawa, ito yung pinaka-importante. Hindi nyo sila dapat i-require sundan yung meal plan na yun. Or another wise step for you as a coach, if nilapitan kayo about meal plan, pwede kayo mag-provide based on your knowledge, wag nyong medically prescribe, wag nyo silang i-require sundan, at ang best step siguro, or I think for me, believe ako sa mga ganung trainers na, ipa-check mo sa kilala mong nutritionist kung pwede mo sundan.
That's
diba?
what I do. Whenever I present or whenever nagpapakilala ako as a fitness nutrition specialist, palaging merong disclaimer na I don't prescribe meal plans, but what I can do is educate you when it comes to the role of macro and micronutrients. Ano ba yung role ng carbs, proteins, and fats? Paano ba nila ma-optimize yung performance natin? Paano tayo tutulungan ng mga pagkain na yan to help achieve our goals? Pero but if you really need a specific meal plan, I will refer you out. So yun. So clear. I'm very clear with that. So we can guide them general information about nutrition. It's all about education. Yes, exactly.
Yung trainer, no?
Kahit din sa supplements. Hindi natin maiwasan, tinatanong tayo ng mga clients dyan, di ba? So always educate them na so hindi naman necessary yung supplements, di ba? Pero technically pwede siya if you're always on the go, wala kang time to you don't have any time to prepare your meals, you can definitely try taking supplements, pero make sure mo na magko-consult
Kung
ka muna
talaga.
talaga sa nutritionist or not nutritionist medical professional talaga. So doctor, baka mamaya may ingredients yung whey protein,
Yeah.
tapos hindi ka pala pwede
Pwede.
doon, 'di ba? So ayan, I mean it's always through education muna. Ayan.
So, thanks to sa pinaka-sensible insights na yun, Coach Carl. Kasi, yun nga, parang may mga nababalitaan rin tayo. I know, Coach, alam mo yan, na screenshot program, screenshot meal plan, wala man lang disclaimer.
Totoo.
Ito, recently, nag-create ako ng macro estimator based sa natutunan ko sa National Academy of Sports Medicine na binigay ng National Personal Training Academy Philippines. By the way, paras kami educator from the NPTAPH. And yun sa mga role namin sa kanila is to really provide education through this platform. Na nag-create ako, doon ko natutunan na talaga kailangan mo i-present din sa tao yung best available guidelines na safe. Pero hindi mo pwedeng parang ipagsiksikan sa buhay nila or i-impose sa kanila na sundan nyo to, sundan nyo yung sinasabi ko.
Tama.
Kaya ako nag-create ako ng macro estimator na ma-identify yung TDE nila, maintenance. Pero sa baba, if you want safe, if skeptical ka sa binibigay ko, that's the best reason for you to consult a medical professional. Ito ay educational purposes only based on the publicly available guidelines. 'Di ba? So talagang dapat may disclaimer ka. Hindi dahil parang huhugas kamay kapag may nangyari di maganda. Pero I think that's just an ethical way.
Ethical, yeah. So, tama dun. Yun nga yung sinasabi ko kanina, Coach, na always stay within your lane. And that, yun nga, hindi naman tayo ng mga ibang coaches. It's just that, yung providing of specific meal plan, hindi talaga siya magandang gawin without knowing the history of the client, the lifestyle, di ba? Magpe-prescribe ka ng 1,200 na meal plan without really knowing the lifestyle of the client. What if the client has a very demanding job? I mean, they are required to like move around, 'di ba? So, tapos pe-prescribe ba natin ng meal plan para lang ma-transform natin sila. Hindi siya healthy way.
Yeah.
Again, losing weight management, we have to do it realistically in a very sustainable way din. And syempre, healthy pa rin dapat, 'di ba? Ayan, so kumbaga, ano nga ba talaga for example, sa weight loss, ano ba ang realistic weight loss talaga?
Per week na.
Per month na lang, Coach. That's
per month
actually
na.
3 kilos every month.
Yeah.
Diba? So,
or yung 1% or 0.8% of your weight per week naman.
Exactly, tama. So kapag sa goal setting, kapag tinanong mo si client kung do you have any number in mind na gusto mong ma-target, so kapag sinabi niya na for example, 12 kilos. So that will take at least 4 months, 'di ba? Pero hindi mo pa diyan ina-account yung potential setbacks. So you have to account potential setbacks whenever you do goal setting.
Sabagay, life happens
Exactly, life happens. So kumbaga, if you're not accounting those setbacks, you're not being realistic. Ayan. So kumbaga, hindi naman natin sila tinatali sa atin, 'di ba? Na kaya natin i-account yung setbacks is because we're being realistic.
Yeah.
Mamaya kasi mag-expect sila na, sabi ni Coach Carl, kaya kong mag-lose ng 12 kilos in 4 months. 'Di ba? 3 months na, 2 kilo pa lang nalulose ko. 'Di ba? So, hindi tama yun. Kumbaga, you have to let your client know na meron tayong mga potential setbacks talaga. And you need to cover that. That's why, adding a few more months dun sa original timeline na na-compute mo, yun, mas mag-work yun.
Mag-work yun.
Tama.
Kasi ang maganda rin doon na ma-experience ng mga ibang tao na hindi pala nangyayaring ganun kabilis.
Yes, exactly.
Is for you to realize na kailangan mong malaman yung hard truths na yun so that you won't be carried away sa unrealistic goals.
Totoo.
Na parang, linear pala ang weight loss.
Exactly.
Linear pala ang progress. Hindi, life happens.
Tama.
Diba? So, sabihin natin, you have 100% motivation for the next 21 days. Tapos, boom, wag naman sana, pero na-dengue ka.
Exactly. So,
Paano yun, di ba?
tama yung sinasabi mo, Coach. So, maraming clients na hindi sila realistic mag-set ng timeline. So, it's your job, responsibility as a coach to to unpack or undress, kumbaga identify potential barriers. So, tama ka dun sa life happens, paano kung nag-dip yung motivation nila? 'Di ba? Like, first month, sobrang gana nila mag-gym. And then, pagdating ng second, third month, tinatambad na sila. So, yung timeline na original yung sinet, hindi na nasusunod yun. So, as the fitness professional, it's your responsibility to i-identify yung mga barriers na yun. And again, try to create solution, offer, ganyan. Pero there's always limitation pa rin eh. Paano kung may nangyari nga sa buhay nila? Ano yan eh, sa pag-create na lang din ng program, di ba? It should fit your lifestyle. So, kapag hindi fit sa lifestyle mo, the program will never work for you. So, you need to account your stress levels, motivation levels, confidence level, buhay mo outside. Okay, so outside routine, kailangan mong, kailangan as a coach, ako, whenever I do consultations, tinatanong ko yun. So, para alam ko rin yung i-expect ko sa kanya. Ayan. So,
Tsaka yung mga tao nakapalibot sa kanya, influential yun.
Totoo
diba?
yun.
For example, sa meal plan, meron isang client na gusto niya mag-meal plan, pero lagi siya binabati ko sa nanay niya.
tama.
Parang wala naman lasa yung kinakain mo. So, parang sa household nila,
Mama niya yung barrier.
marama niya yung barrier, alienated yung ginagawa
Tama.
niya. Sabi ko, ma, ito yung condition ko, hindi na ako pwede sa mamantika. Paano sasarap yan?
Totoo.
Diba? So, hindi talaga centralize sa sarili mo lang kasi nakapalibot dyan yung mga taong araw-araw mong nakakasalamuha, diba?
So, yun yung tinatawag natin na social support. Ayan. So, sa atin, makukuha yun ng clients nila. Kaya nga whenever...
At dapat bigay natin sa kanila.
Totoo. Kaya sinasabi ko rin yun sa mga clients ko kapag nagko-consult ako na number one, not really number one, kasama sa barrier yung family natin. Sometimes, isa sila sa mga nagsasabotage ng goals natin. Kasi, syempre, hindi nila tayo suportado eh. So, what I usually tell them is you need to involve your family, your partner, your loved ones. Basically, kahit yung friends mo.
Basta kung sino lagi mong kasama.
Kasi malakas yung influence nila eh. So, if you're always with your friends who always go to Starbucks, di ba? Yari na yung goals natin. So, maapektuhan na talaga yung progress natin. Kumbaga, you need to involve them, let them know na, Dad, I'll be engaging in a fitness journey na. So, I need your support. Kung hindi nyo ako susuportaan, hindi ko makukuha yung gusto ko. Sayang yung perang ibabayad ko kay coach. 'Di ba? So, kumbaga, or, kung papayagan ka ng parents mo, talagang mag-iiba ka ng pagkain.
Yeah.
Not really dun sa level na kagaya ng mga bodybuilders na extreme yung dieting.
Na kailangan nila talaga gawin
Exactly.
yun. Iba talaga pagkain nila sa
Tama.
pamilya nila, di ba?
Yeah, so, and iba yung discipline din nila sa food. So, I admire them for that. Pero hindi naman tayo kasi, hindi tayo competitive bodybuilders. So, but you still have to create small adjustments sa nutrition talaga. Kasi if you're not going to create at least small adjustments sa nutrition mo, you will not get results.
Kahit marginal adjustment
Exactly.
lang, malaki ng bagay yan.
Di ba? Or, another example, normally, nagpo-4 times, 4 na beses kang kumakain sa isang araw. Magbawas ka lang ng isa. 3, you're already creating deficit. So, over time, kapag tuloy-tuloy yun, talaga maglulose ka pa rin ng weight. So, hindi naman talaga kailangan malinis yung pagkain natin. At least small adjustments lang.
Yeah.
You will still lose weight. Ayan. Pero again, this is something that I always tell to my clients na it's not always about the training and nutrition. So, pwedeng maganda yung program mo, maganda nutrition mo, pero yung stress levels mo napakataas. Sabog.
Sleep mo sabog.
Magsuslow down yung progress mo. Lalo na yan sa mga clients na may complications. So, mas mabagal ang progress ng mga clients na may comorbidities.
Kasi double time yung pag-function ng mga organs
Exactly.
nila to preserve life.
Kasi sa mga clients na may mga comorbidities or may mga complication, i-account mo na dyan yung insulin resistance nila, energy balance, yung recovery din.
Hormones.
Hormones, exactly. At saka exercise capacity. At saka yung last is yung behavioral and psychological factor pa rin. So kaya mas mabagal ang progress nila compared dun sa mga taong healthy.
Healthy.
Or walang comorbidity.
Gusto ko i-point out yun, coach, no? Yung unang-una yung pagkikreate ng mga marginal adjustment sa buhay na that will make or help you create significant results. Like for example, yung lagi ko rin sinasabi sa mga clients ko na sino yung malapit na tao sa'yo or kanya sa family mo,
Totoo.
i-announce, broadcast mo sa kanila yung goal
Exactly.
mo. Siguro ako, naging effective sa akin yun na parang, yun, may mga pinsan ako na, na lagi yung niyaya. Sila, umiinom ako, hindi na kasi. Pero gusto ko rin kasi sila makasama. Sabi ko lang, willing man pagpuyatan, pero
Hindi ako inom.
hindi talaga magpapapilit uminom Tapos sila, go lang, basta pumunta ka lang, di ba? So I think you really have to vocalize or broadcast your goal so that people will know hanggang saan sila mag-i-intervene sa
Exactly,
buhay mo.
oo.
Kahit sa boss mo di ba? Na parang, kung like ka niyaya sa Starbucks, at tingin mo Starbucks yung nagiging dahil ba't di ka nag-lose ng weight? Pwedeng two ways Unang-una, boss, black coffee lang ako. Tapos kapag sinabi na, uy, diet ka. Parang, kapag ina-announce mo yung goal mo, parang sasabihin na, sige, nagda-diet ka pala. Sige, para mas mababa sa calories.
Tama.
So, pwede kasi mag-enforcer pa sila ng better behavior.
Exactly.
So, talagang, I think we advise you, whether a coach or you're a client na, i-broadcast nyo yung
Yeah.
goal nyo sa mga tao malalapit sa inyo na highly influential sa kung paano kayo mag-desisyon sa buhay.
Totoo.
But of course, i-broadcast nyo rin siya sa taong susuportahan kayo. Kasi mahirap yung pag binroadcast mo sa taong ayaw ka mag-succeed.
Yes. So,
Sasabotahin
wala.
nila yan.
Sabotage talaga yun. So, importante rin talaga importante yung social support. Yun na lang. So, it's not always about training hard, eating the right foods. Sometimes may ambag yung support pa rin eh.
Yeah.
Ayan, so,
Laking
behavioral.
bagay yun.
Yan, behavioral.
Yeah.
So, motivation nyo. Confidence level, 'di ba? Stress levels, lahat yan need nating i-account as a coach para mas efficient yung resulta na mabibigay natin and realistic also.
So, yun yung mga bigyan namin tips sa inyo na, of course, yung goal na iba-broadcast nyo, dapat deeply rooted sa personal na buhay ninyo na lagi ko sinasabi, mag-aim naman kayo ng goal na kapag di nyo na-hit in a specific or realistic time, may hindi maganda mangyayari sa inyo or hindi magiging maganda yung takbo ng daily buhay nyo. For example, weight loss. Kapag di ka pa nag-lose ng weight in 3 months, ano yung bagay na tingin mo hindi mo gusto mangyari? Like ako, for example.
Mag-reality check.
Reality check, di ba? Sa akin, charge from experience. Parang 2 years ago bago magkaroon ng ACL injury. Sinabi ko na, try ko muna mag-lose ng weight. I think it's time for me to lose some weight lang para lang hindi ako masyado bumigat. Kasi hindi ako nagbabantay ng, hindi ako strict nagka-track ng calories. I choose protein, basketball, weightlifting, tuloy-tuloy ako nun. Tumatakbo nga ako minsan. Tapos sabi ko, lose ako ng weight. Pero, biglang niyaya ako ng kaibigan ko na, na sali ng liga. First time nila mag-organize. Ako naman, parang sobrang happy ako nag-organize sila. Tsaka opportunity for me to play again. Sige, laro ako. Walang isip-isip, laro. Tapos biglang injured. So, hindi ko kasi inisip na,
Tama.
parang sabi ko nun, baka bumigat ako, baka may mangyari sa akin. Hindi maganda pag di ako nag-lose ng weight this time. Hindi ko inisip na, baka may ACL ako after ilang months or magka-injury ako. Nangyari nga. Kaya ako, yan na yung probing ko eh. Ano yung goal na pag di mo na-achieve this year, makikita mo na hindi talaga magiging maganda yung takbo ng buhay mo.
Tama.
Then, from
Reality
there,
check talaga.
deeper why na sila.
Deeper why.
So, Coach, curious ako, ano yung parang pinaka-common distinction? Siguro, ano yung pinaka-significant difference based on your experience sa pagtitrain ng isang healthy versus may health complications? Kahit isa lang. Yung gusto ko lang
Pinakaiba?
para mapasok ko lang sa mundo na, ganun pala, pag talagang may sakit yung, or may health complication tinitrain mo. Ano yung pinagkaiba ng dalawang yun?
Progressive overload. So, sa mga taong healthy, mas aggressive yung progress.
Na pwede, no?
Exactly.
Pwede
While sa taong may complications or may condition, mas mabagal. I mean, yung progressive overload, mabagal.
mas
So it's
conservative
not,
din.
it's not about bringing the weight up all the time. So we're not chasing hindi natin chine-chase yung sweat or yung
PRs.
reps. Tama, yung bigat. So, kumbaga, ang pinakaiba nila, yung sa tao na may complication, how they feel. Kumbaga, ano yung nafe-feel nila whenever they do the exercise. Meron ba silang discomfort? May pain ba? For example, sa hypertension, nakakaramdam ba sila ng may dizziness? For example. So, while dun sa taong healthy naman, pwede ka maging aggressive dun sa
Yeah.
sa overloading. Progressive overload.
So, yun yung client-based experience yan. So, it means pagdating sa coach, more patience.
Exactly. So, dun sa mga taong walang sakit, pwede mo silang i-challenge talaga sa weight, 'di ba? Pero syempre, ano pa rin, may adjustment pa rin, of
Yeah.
course. So,
May supervision pa rin.
hindi ka naman magbibigay ng weight na mabigat agad tapos hindi pa kaya ng client.
Kahit healthy pa yun.
Exactly, oo. Kaya maganda rin talaga na may sistema tayo. So, sa amin, we follow fina-follow ko rin yung RPE system.
Yung
So,
rate per
may tracker.
yung RPE pala yung rate perceived of exertion. Rate of perceived exertion.
Yes,
pala.
so maganda rin siyang i-apply sa programming natin para alam natin how hard is the client working based on sa intensity na binigay natin, 'di ba? So baka naman mamaya si client syempre hindi nagsasalita, baka sobrang gaan na pala sa kanya nung binubuhat niya tapos ikaw tingin mo magaan pa yun for you.
Kung nga sobrang masunurin, no?
Yes, so sobrang masunurin. May mga clients na ganun yung hindi nagre-react, di ba?
Nonchalant lang.
Tama. So, kailangan, communicate talaga. Ayan. And yung paglalagay ng mga ganong sistema sa client, maganda rin siya kasi strengthen yung system mo eh. You have stronger system and natatrack mo yung progress ng client. Ayan.
Of course, dapat ina-track mo, di ba?
Tama.
Sige. Ito, coach, siguro second to the last question. If lahat ng principle na very relevant sa line of work mo, mawala lahat, pero ano ito yung isang principle na dapat hindi mawala at dapat i-apply ng mga taong nakikinig ngayon?
Ano yung dapat mawala?
Kapag parang nawala na lahat, pwede mong bitawan lahat ang principle na to, pero ito, pangahawakan mo na mahigpit kasi alam mo, importante yung principle to.
Siguro yung pagiging evidence-based coach ko. Ayan. So, as much as possible, we want to remove the trial and error. Kaya nga tayo pinuntahan ng client kasi hindi nila alam yung gagawin nila. Paano kung hindi, what if you don't apply evidence sa coaching, di ba? The trial and error ka rin. So, as much as possible, let's remove the guesswork. Ayan, so, apply evidence-based coaching strategies and principles as well.
Ano bang evidence-based coach kung i-explain mo siya sa isang taong bago lang na pakikinig sa atin? Ano ba yung evidence-based coaching sa'yo, coach?
So, ina-explain ko siya sa pinakamadaling paraan. As much as possible, I use simple words. Kasi kung gagamitan natin siya ng mga words na alam natin,
Too flowery.
exactly, jargon, so hindi nila maintindihan yun, di ba? So, gusto natin yung nakaka-relate yung client sa atin, yung, kumbaga, we use words na easy for them to understand. So, evidence-based is you follow data. Okay, so, if it's program prescription, program design. So, as much as possible, you follow data pa rin, pero syempre, wag mo pa rin kakalimutan yung experience.
Yung practicality.
Exactly, So, hindi naman po pwede palaging puro experience. Di ba? So,
hindi rin pwedeng puro data lang.
Exactly. So, what if you apply data all the time, pero hindi nakakalimutan mo na yung side ng experience. So, kailangan pasok pa rin silang dalawa
Pareha
talaga.
sila. Yun yung, doon nagkakamali yung mga tao, yung false dichotomy na it's either black and white or experience or science-based.
Totoo.
Nag-exist yung mga taong kaya paghuluin yung dalawang yun,
Yes,
diba?
pwede, totoo.
Yung evidence-based kasi ako, personal definition ko dyan is, or yung parang simple motto ko sa about evidence-based fitness is, what's currently applicable and available will always be better sa kung ano yung best practice. Na kumbaga parang sabihin nating hip thrust is the best glute exercises, best glute exercise among all exercises. Ibig sabihin pag yung gym mo, walang hip thrust machine, you will never, your clients there na nag-work will never maximize glute gains. Diba hindi?
Hindi, oo.
Of course,
Alternative.
alternative pa rin. Parang ibig sabihin, kahit na sinasabi ng data na hip thrust may be the best exercise for glutes, pero hindi niya dinidiscount ko ng effect ng squats,
Yeah.
ng deadlift,
So, meron-
ng Bulgarian
definite-
split squats, kung yun yung available sa gym nyo, di ba?
Definitely, meron pa rin talagang stimulus yun. So, kung, for example, ako, I have a back condition. So, may mga exercises na ako na hindi pwedeng gawin. Pero it doesn't mean na I cannot build muscle anymore. It might take longer for me to build muscle kasi I have a back condition na. Pero still, I can still build. I
Yeah.
mean, hindi na ako pwede sa squats eh. So, pero there are still other ways to build muscle. Pero, mas matagal nga lang kasi hindi ko fina-follow yung best exercise.
Yeah.
Kasi bawal siya sa akin.
Bawal
So,
sa'yo, di ba?
that's why, as a coach, kailangan alam mo rin yung limitations ng client. Diba? So, the goal is, whenever you create program, kailangan pasok sa preference, pasok sa goal, it fits their schedule as well. Exercise selection matters.
Yeah.
Exercise order matters as well. Kung nag-enjoy ba sila dun sa exercise. Kung hindi ba sila nag-enjoy sa exercise, lahat yan nagmamatter eh. Magbibigay ka ng program na hindi enjoyable sa client, maapektuhan yung adherence nila. Ayan, so, kaya every time I do reconsultation sa mga current clients ko, may mga tanong ako doon na, let's say, sa past program natin, itong past program natin na dinaanan natin, ano yung pinaka na-enjoy mo na exercise, ano rin yung pinaka-ayaw mo pala. So, syempre, sasabihin nila yun. So, mas okay ba sa'yo na wala yung exercise na yun? Yes, coach. So, paano kung ito yung best exercise for now?
Okay, diba?
Ayan.
Yun yan. Siguro to interrupt lang ko siya. Mangyayari talaga yun na
Nangyayari
pag
yun.
nag-pinpoint sila na ano yung pinakaya mo exercise, ang mapipinpoint pa nila yung pinaka-best.
Exactly,
Diba?
oo. So,
Nangyayari yun.
parang kanina, kakatanong ko lang siya. Ayaw daw niya nung walking lunges. Pero it's one of the, kahit na paano, optimal exercise for the quads, di ba?
Yeah,
Lalo na, ang gusto naman pala niya ng i-improve is the quads, di ba?
Kukutas kung dumbbells lang ang meron sila, di ba?
Exactly, oh. So, ang
Paano
tanong
yun?
ko sa kanya, if I program this again, okay lang ba sa'yo? So, ang sagot naman niya, yes, okay naman, coach. It's a love and hate relationship naman eh. Kumbaga, what we're trying to say, Coach Ja, is ang program creation or designing, it's a collaborative process. So, hindi lang dapat puro si coach. Kumbaga, if hindi parang, dati kasi kumbaga, I think we've all been there before din, yung nag-try tayong kumuha ng coach, 'di ba? So parang may nag-prescribe sa akin ng pull-ups, hindi naman ako marunong mag-pull-ups.
5 sets.
5 sets. Kumbaga, alam ko naman na may alternative exercise, pero I still, dahil I respect the coach, tinry ko pa rin naman yung best ko i-perform yung pull-ups, pero hindi talaga kaya eh. So, kumbaga, nagmamatter pa rin yung enjoyment din. Dapat kahit na paano ini-involve yung client sa pag-prescribe ng program. Para, collaborative process nga siya.
Kumbaga, ako rin, coach, I share the same value na when I program, I co-create it with my clients.
Totoo.
Na based sa interest nila. Based din sa kailangan nila. Na minsan, difficult sa coach na kailangan mong i-prove sa kanila ito yung kailangan mo eh. Practical na to, ito pa yung most, kumbaga, optimal for you. Parang,
Yeah.
namimit niya yung practicality and optimal. hindi lang siya naniniwala na yun yung kailangan niya. And I think that's one of the tawag doon, unsung difficulties ng mga coaches.
Yeah,
Na sometimes they really have to impose kung anong kailangan mo, hindi lang kung anong gusto mo. They really have to tell you kung anong kailangan mo marinig, hindi yung gusto mong marinig.
Tama.
Yun. Ayun. So, Coach Carl, siguro bago marap tayo episode, and papasalamat ako na marami kang value na binigay sa mga listeners natin. And siguro in return, gusto ko lang din ikaw bigyan ng opportunity to really tell kung ano pa yung ginagawa mo na I think magbe-benefit yung mga tao, whether may kinig sila sa'yo for whether free value yan or premium value yan. And I think you deserve like an air or space to really tell people more about kung ano yung ginagawa mo as a fitness professional. Sige, Coach, go ahead. Baka may gusto kang i-promote.
Aside dun sa na-mention ko kanina early, before kami mag-start ni Coach Ja, my main specialization is weight management, so that includes weight loss, fat loss, ayan. Those two are different things, magkaiba ang weight loss versus fat loss, but the primary goal should always be fat loss. Siyempre, the more na mas mataas yung muscle mass, mas maganda yung healthier, exactly. I am also a corrective exercise specialist. So whenever I create program, may mga assessment ako na ginagawa sa mga clients to identify muscle imbalances. Bale, ang binibigay sa akin nung specialization na yon, or ang binibigay sa inyo nung specialization na yon is ma-identify natin yung mga muscle imbalances nyo na nag-limit sa mga movements ninyo. Most muscle imbalances comes from habitual-based activities or kung ano man yung madalas natin ginagawa. And over time, that creates muscle imbalances. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga limitations sa movement, slight discomfort, ayan. So, naapektuhan yung daily activities ninyo, not just yung lifting. Now, as a corrective exercise specialist, I can very well help you correct those muscle imbalances or address that through exercise pa rin. So, everything is through exercise, hindi siya medical-based pa rin. So, nagki-create yung mga muscle imbalances na yun, over time, nagki-create siya ng compensation. So, kaya natin siyang tanggalin para mas ma-optimize natin yung movement nyo, mas makagalaw kayo na mas maayos. So, I also do that. Basically,
may assessment ka doon, Coach, no? Tsaka saan nila pwede ma-experience yung service mo, especially if they really want to have themselves assessed in terms of movement at tsaka yung postural.
Yeah, postural.
correction.
So I do postural assessment, mobility and flexibility assessment.
Sa gym mo yan, Coach, no?
Yeah, dun sa gym ko. So I have a private studio located inside North Fairview Park Subdivision. So nandyan siya sa North Fairview lang. So magkapit-bahay lang kami ni Coach Ja.
Yung studio natin.
Yes. So exclusive siya for personal training clients. Ayan. So I don't allow gym access kasi nga I want the
Private
studio
talaga.
to be exclusive dun sa mga clients namin for personal training. So ang market ko is yung mga clients who wants to train in a private setting. So undivided attention, full attention. You get my full attention for the whole 1 hour. So you can check my page, North Fairview Personal Trainers. And ayun, so napakadaling puntahan, kitang-kita. So, ayan, nasa Waze na tayo.
Sige. So yun, Coach Carl, thank you. Yung details ng gym ni Coach Carl tsaka yung page ni Coach Carl, lagay ko siya sa description ng YouTube natin tsaka ng Spotify so that ma-capture nyo or ma-catch nyo kung saan siya pwede makausap at kung saan pwede ma-experience yung assessments na tingin ko kailangan nyo so that you can optimize your movement and your performance. So yun lang. Ito na yung episode. Again, bago kayo umalis, yung mga comments nyo or takeaways nyo, we will happy to see sa comment section ko if ano yung mga naging takeaways ninyo. And siguro kung may re-request ako is if ever you find this valuable, take a screenshot of any part of this episode, story nyo, re-restore namin ni Coach Carl. In that way, doon kami makakuha ng reach kasi hindi naman tayo nepo baby para gumastos ng malaki sa ads at makita ng ibang tao. So through that organic gesture from you, it will help us to really spread the message and to provide legitimate fitness. So yun lang, Coach Carl, hindi pa to last
Yes.
ha. And
Tama
you
ako.
also follow National Personal Training Academy,
Academy.
PH. If gusto nyo maging certified as we are, kung ano yung mga education na pinagdaanan namin, you can get that education from NPTA PH. Matutulungan nila kayo to get access from yung mga NASAM certifications na talagang
tingin nyo makakatulong sa inyo.
Diba?
Yun, so you can definitely check them out.
high-level fitness education
Yes.
talaga siya. Sabihin nyo ng bias kasi ako pinagdaanan ko and sasabihin ko kung ano yung talagang pinaniniwalaan ko. So, if you want to get certified, follow npta.ph sa Instagram. Then, mag-inquire lang kayo sa kanila dahil may mga installments or one-time payment.
Yeah.
Kung anong kaya nyo ng
Discounts.
budget niyo. Discounts.
From time to time, yeah.
Meron kami, pwedeng gamitin yung codes namin, visit nyo yung mga page namin to get additional discounts so that you can get certified and legally and ethically practice fitness personal training. So, yun lang. Keep it legit, guys. Again, huwag kalimutan mag-subscribe. Abangan yung mga next high-value episodes namin. Thank you, Coach Carl.
Thank you, Coach.